So sophomore year, just keep doing well in school and your medical school prereqs, right? So your medical school prerequisites. This is really important because your science GPA is different from your actual overall GPA, right? Because your overall GPA measures all your science classes plus all the other classes you're taking, right? For example, if you took weightlifting or yoga or something, all those A's won't be counted in your science GPA because it's measuring how well you did in specifically your medical school prerequisites. So it's counting out all those frivolous A's to make sure you're not artificially boosting your GPA. So that's really important to do well in all those classes because remember, the only objective measure that a medical school has is numbers, right? Your GPA and MCAT. These two things are the most important because they offer a standard ground in which they can judge everyone on. For example, how do you compare someone that's volunteered 1,000 hours in a hospital or 2,000 hours? How do you know even if they did that many hours, right? Like they can't afford to check every single person's history on if they did something or not. So at the end of the day, numbers are a huge deal, and that's why I keep emphasizing how important your GPA and MCAT is. So make sure you're staying on top of all your stuff, and remember if your extracurriculars are starting to interfere with your grades, just quit the extracurriculars for a period of time and do as well as you can in your classes, then go back to your working on your extracurriculars. So moving on, if you're staying on top of your game and you're doing well in school and everything, try to become an officer of a club. You will need to show that you've had leadership experience, and it's also just good experience in general for medical school and for life. You have to be able to especially as an officer of a club, be able to lead people, to be able to organize events, to be able to fundraise, to communicate well. All these ingredients are necessary for someone that's going to take the leadership position of a doctor. And just in life, it's good skills to have. So along the same note, try to also be a mentor to incoming freshmen. This once again counts as leadership experience, and also you get to pass it forward to the next group. You get to share all your wisdom that you and all the mistakes that you made to your incoming freshman students, so that they won't make the same mistakes. And also, once again, it encourages great communication skills and the ability to teach others, right? So that's important. Once again, try to start doing research. For example, if you were looking for research last semester, you can start doing it this semester. Therefore, you probably have a better handle on how to handle your college classes now, since you've had a year to work on it. And so you'll have the ability to put in all those hours because research is usually time consuming. It's usually between 10 to 20 hours. So now you have the time and the time management skills to be able to handle both your classes and research. Also, try to become a TA during the spring or the sophomore year. The spring or the fall or spring semesters. Because this way, you have a chance to not only reinforce the stuff you learn, but also you get to know a professor better. And now this is really important because later on you will need to ask someone for a rec letter. And typically it's around 2 science professors and 1 non-science professor. So, for example, if you're asking someone for a rec letter and all you did was you were in their class and you got an A, which is impressive, and you went to their office hours, all they can write is, oh yeah, he was a good person, he asked a lot of questions and he got an A in my class. They don't really know you, right? But if you become a TA, suddenly they have so much more they can talk about. And plus you get so much more time you spend with them, like creating lesson plans, just interacting with them more, so they get to know you better as a person. So not only will it improve skills such as your communication, but it also helps develop that recommendation letter that you will later ask for and need actually for your admissions process. During the summer, the sophomore summer, I actually used all 3 months to study for the MCAT. Now, during the summer, I actually did not do anything else. I limited basically all my social activities. I didn't hang out with friends. I mean, I had some fun. I watched movies on occasion, and went out and did some activities with my family. But honestly, it was just a 3 month grind for the MCAT. And it really paid off because I only had to take it one time. And I still got into a medical school I really like. So it's really important to be able to spend these 3 months to do it. And it is actually kind of early for most people because most people seem to take it during their fall of their junior year or the spring of the junior year. Now, I'll give you some tips on why I did this. So, first of all, you get 3 months, no other distractions. You don't have to study for school because it's really difficult to study for the MCAT and school. I haven't done it personally, but I have heard of a lot of people suffering through it. And I can only imagine because it's so much material to cover on top of like having a heavy course load would be really, really difficult. So I really like the fact that I could study with no distractions and no other commitments. And on top of that, it's a higher probability that I only have to take it one time because I was so well prepared. So that's really important. And the other thing is, just in case if I didn't do well, I still had a lot of time to retake it. I mean, at this point, I was pretty much done with all my prereqs. This is also when the MCAT changed into the new MCAT. So the only thing I was missing was biochem, but I self-studied that, and that was actually one of my better sections. So it's completely possible to do, and yeah, so just you have that advantage of being able to take it a second time if you need it. For example, people that took it in the fall and they realized that they didn't have a good score, they'd once again have to study during the spring semester with another course load. And so that's really difficult and really stressful on you. But this way, it maximizes your probability of getting it right the first time and not having to worry about it again. And it was a really great feeling not to worry about it after finishing in the summer.